You know, real estate is one of the best and fastest ways to build wealth. And if you want to beat the market, why not just go off the market? I mean, it sounds crazy, right? Because I mean, in private equity, yeah, sure, you can go off the market. That's private equity. You're buying businesses. In the stocks, it's not. It's all public. So why is it that it's so lucrative, right? So we're going to get into it here in terms of, I'm going to give you a story first, a little story background, as well as sharing with you the why. Like, why does this work so well? And how can you get into off-market or private deals? So first, a little story. So one of my friends, she's going through it right now. She's buying her first property ever. And again, it's just a small property. It's like a one bedroom, one bathroom in a really hot market. It's in Dublin, Ireland. And people over there, they're struggling. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're making a little bit more, a little bit less than the average person. She certainly is not a baller. Yeah, she'll go on her holidays, she'll have her little hostel holidays, I like to call them, because they're not like really expensive holidays, but they're fun. And she'll, do her things like go to her gigs. Her friends are like the same crowd. They're not lawyers, they're not doctors, they're not high income individuals. And she had no background whatsoever in real estate. Yet she's getting into her very first deal and she's crushing it. She's got into a really nice deal in Southside Dublin City. Now, this could apply to the US, could apply anywhere, right? So this is what she's doing. She got into a really, really hot deal, very, very close to all the amenities in that area. Really safe neighborhood. The building is barely 20 years old. It's just fabulous. And actually, one of the units just below her has gone for almost 70 to 80,000 euros more than what she's paying. And she's moving in the next few weeks. The deal is going to close. It's just incredible what she's done with no background whatsoever. What she did was simply because one of her parents knew the owner of the property, just negotiated with the owner directly. They weren't necessarily even thinking about selling the property, right? But just like approached, oh, would you be interested in selling the property? So going off market like that, she crushed it. And you can too. Again, that's just for her first one bedroom, one bathroom apartment, no background in real estate whatsoever, very little interest in real estate as far as I can tell. So for you, if you're getting your first property, that might be the same thing too. Now, if you're getting a bigger property, like a multifamily, this is even more important, right? We're going to try to beat the market by going off the market. Now, why would you do that? Like, Michael, there's probably plenty of, and I hear you, there's plenty, if you're looking for something simple, like an apartment, or maybe like a one unit, like a house, like a single family, I hear you, you go on and you look on Zillow, or in Ireland, it'd be like daft.ie. If it's something that's on the market, we're talking about something that's on the multiple listing service, or the MLS in the US, whatever the equivalent is in your country, something that your real estate agent can basically show you. Like, these are for sale. It's online, it's for sale. That's how I would classify as something is on the market. Now, if you get into a helicopter, right, and you're able to go over your area, wherever you live. Now, it's different if you're in the desert. You're not going to see many homes in the desert. I know that. But if you're just looking at a regular area, you'll see plenty of properties, but they're not necessarily for sale. But that doesn't mean that they cannot be for sale. You can always approach the owners if you just knew the owners. So it's really, really good because, first, you're not getting into a bidding war. I mean, in her case, in Ireland, she would have been getting into a massive bidding war where maybe she offers, 300, someone comes in at 310, then she's 315, then they say 320, then someone else comes in at 335. Next thing, she's having to pay 340, and she might walk away for it for 350. The last thing you want is to get into a bidding war like that. Whereas when you are the one buyer, because you've literally communicated directly with the owner who wasn't, before this wasn't thinking of selling, you are avoiding a bidding war. This is really good if you're in a hot market, whether you're in San Francisco, New York, if you're in London, if you're in the expensive cities, Canada, like Toronto, things like that. This is a great way of getting around bidding wars. But also, if you're negotiating with the owner, you could make the owner the bank if they agree. So that's seller finance. You could negotiate the interest. If the interest rate is too high, you can negotiate. Again, I'm not a lawyer. You want to consult a lawyer to actually write out the contract. But this is a great way people get into properties all the time. And this is especially true when we're thinking about larger properties. We're thinking about multi-family properties. And this is kind of like where I am. So I'm buying multifamily properties now. And for my next multifamily deal, it's a fourplex unit, just 4 units in one building. That's how I'm predominantly searching. Yes, I do have the public site too. I do have a real estate agent who's licensed. They have access to the MLS. But I kind of figured, well, there's hardly any of these 4 unit. I was very specific. I'm looking for something rare. I'm looking for a unicorn. And I don't want it in a downtown, dense urban area, because downtown, dense urban areas usually aren't the safest, not where I live anyway. So I wanted to live in the suburbs, right? We're thinking somewhere safe. Class A, Class B neighborhood. This is rare. Since the 50s, the 1950s, the zoning officials have got stricter and stricter and stricter with these kind of multifamilies. So you don't really see much after the 1980s. It kind of started in the 50s, and by the time the 80s came, that was it. It was really, really strict. I'm either going to have to be forced to get an old building or a unicorn new building. Fine, but if there's few that are for sale, right, there could be more that are not for sale. So that's my strategy. Go on and look at find out, where I can find them. Now, above and beyond a bidding war, also because of seller finance, and also because of something being rare. In my case, I'm having to go on offline, I'm having to go off market to find a bigger group of potential properties that I'd be interested in buying. So this can help you, whether you're getting into your first property, if it's a small house, an apartment, anything. You can avoid a bidding war, you can get potentially better financing, and you can also, if you're getting something that's rare, you're getting more deals than you can otherwise see. Because again, if you got into a helicopter, you'd see loads of homes all over the place, right? So that's way more than are advertised for sale. People, you never know why they wanted to sell. They could be wanting to sell for various reasons. Maybe they're old, they don't want to deal with tenants and toilets anymore. Maybe they're actually commercial and they're trying to sell. Maybe their loan has come due. There's all kinds of reasons why they want to sell, and you could be their savior. You could help them, right? This is true in private equity. This is also true here in real estate. It's a really great way of getting in. But how, Michael? How could I get into this? Well, all I'll say in this video is I started with an app called DealMachine. And I used to be driving around, and this is called driving for dollars. That's a very expensive way. Like if you're going to work, like taking a different way to work each time, because you could see certain streets, certain areas, certain properties that either have a for sale sign, so they're on the market, or it could just, and maybe they're not even advertising online. Maybe they just literally put a for sale sign in their yard. That's really not on the market unless it's advertised online, unless they've listing agents know. It's not really on the market unless it's online. So the old-fashioned way is just not the way. Like the newspaper, the old-fashioned kind of just putting this for sale sign in the yard. You're not going to get a big group of people that are buying because people are not driving around these days. They're looking on websites. So you could drive around, you could pigeon, knock on doors, hire someone to do that if you're too busy. That's the old way. Or finding a really good wholesaler. If you got a good wholesaler, keep them close to you because they're really high value, right? They're doing the work for you. But a better way is using these apps. Now, I've used DealMachine, and I've thought it was great. I thought it was wonderful. But something I'm using now, which is a bit better than DealMachine, at least I'm finding it, personal experience, is, this thing called PropStream. Now, PropStream, great app, great data thing. I'm going to talk about it in detail in another video, but you can use this to find properties in your area, find the owners of the properties. They're not necessarily listed for sale, and then communicate with them. Now, PropStream, you can communicate with them usually through mail, like snail mail, provided that they allow it. Again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. If you want legal advice, you consult with a lawyer. But you can look to see if they have actually allowed you to contact them or not. Now, PropStream allows extra information. It's called skip tracing. Now, I like batch skip tracing, so that's kind of like doing a lot at once to try to find the phone numbers and the emails of the owners. There's another app called Batch Leads, and I'm just exploring that now. I'm going to see how good that really is. I hear that it's a bit better than PropStream. So PropStream, yeah, you can do that, but when you get into things like LLCs and multiple owners and things like that, when you really want the phone number, the email, it can be a little bit difficult. So BatchStream is a little bit better in terms of hitting those deeper data sources. If you especially got multiple owners, company owners like LLCs, to get the phone number. Because look, you could have the mailing address, that's fine. But how many times do you get mail and you think it's like junk mail, it's unsolicited mail, and you just throw it in the bin, right? That's what you tend to do. So why not just go straight, and it's much warmer. Like, I'd much prefer, if I was talking to you, I'd much prefer a phone call, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you prefer a phone call than just like a regular mail? It's going to get dumped. There's more of a chance that you're going to get the person to at least listen to you on the phone. So again, you know, you can call them up, you can ask them if they're their owner, you can say that you're interested in the property and either make an offer there and then, but I wouldn't advise it. I would say it's probably better just to, you know, say, I could make you an offer, but I need to know more information about the property. Would you be interested in it? And then you can work it out from there. The worst they can say is no, and like, okay, could you maybe just like add them to your contacts, and that way, or they could add you to their contacts. If they reconsider in the future, that's great. But for now, look, that's all you got to do. You got to do some leads like that, either driving for dollars, or you use some apps like I've used right now. I'm using PropStream. I'm just about to get into this batch leads, and that's supposed to be better for getting phone numbers and emails because I don't want to just keep sending snail mail. So look, I don't like teaching theory. I like teaching practice, what I do personally. And if you can avoid all the mistakes I've made, so much the better. And if you can copy, if you can reflect on what I've actually done, if you can just copy what I've done that's successful, that's actually led to good results for me, fantastic. It would mean the world to me. That'd be my biggest goal, is for more people to actually learn from that, from my mistakes, but also from my success. And by the way, if you want something for free, if you want me to help you, I've created a free guide. You can click below right now to download it. It's called the $10,000 Property Playbook. It shows you how to get into a property. Even if you only have $10,000, it's just fantastic. So it also shows you how to, you know, generate income from this, and even how to move from one property to the next. So I really hope that that helps you. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be super smart to invest. You don't have to do big number of doors, like even like 4-plex or more like I'm doing. You can start just with one property. So build wealth one property at a time, and I'll see you in the next one.